Okay, so this is my first sponsored artist project. I have decided to go with the different holidays. Um, so this I'm going to call Valentine's Day. It doesn't say Happy Valentine's Day or anything like that. It's more of something romantic. I love quotes from books. So I am going to do a press, and then I'm going to do a reverse stencil of a quote from a book. And I picked Valentine-y colors. I have Pixie Pink, Purple Hill Majesty, Teal, Navajo Jewel, Lightning, and instead of black, I think I am going to use the Weathered Daydream. These I feel are Valentine-y colors, but they're also my go-to colors for pretty much everything because they're my favorites. So, especially the Zia. But we're going to start with a pressed. Make sure I have my plastic. I just use a cut up garbage bag. I'm going to wet the canvas down with water. And I always go, pull my sleeve here, I always go around the edge also, just because I like when my colors go all the way around. So we want to make sure that the whole canvas has water on it. So it blends. Alright. So, Glaze later. These are full strength SPiT, but I'm going to dilute with water with the spray bottle. So, we want this part to be super colorful, because once we put the letters down and we paint over the whole thing gray and we peel the letters back up, we're going to see the colors behind each of the letters. So we want to make sure there's a pretty good variation and not big sections. That's not a good one yet. Not big sections of I had to change my top on that. I got some kind of clog in that one. You want to make sure that there's enough SPiT so that you can really blend. But it still doesn't have to be like a ton. So we did Pixie Pink, Navajo Jewel, Purple Hill Majesty, Teal, and a little bit of white. I'm debating them. I think I'm going to throw a little more pink in there. And definitely more Zia, because again, it's my favorite. Alright. So, once you have your messy colors on, you're going to spray it again so it gets real fluid and it dilutes your SPiT. And then we're going to put a piece of plastic on it, and we're going to do it so that there's no, or we're going to try to get no bubbles in there. Now, because this is a cut up garbage bag and there are some lines from where it was folded, we're going to have to adjust a little bit, but not too much, like after we pull the plastic, because there's just going to be a line, like a bubble line where those lines are, but that's okay. So I don't want to over blend because I don't want a muddy color. So I'm very, very gently just pushing it out to the edges. You don't want muddy, but you want to make sure that you're covering the whole canvas. Like on that line right there. We're going to have a little bit of a air bubble, but that's okay because we can fix it after. And like I said, I like to push it over the edges and make sure that they're all covered. And we had plenty of spit on our canvas to do that, so. Now, if you get the canvas texture showing through, at this point it's okay because we're going to go over it with the solid gray at the end anyway, so it'll be okay. Because I see a few spots around the outside edge that have that, but it, again, is okay. And I don't want any solid lines of the SPiT. So my letters are measuring, this is an 11 by 14 canvas, and my letters are measuring 9.5 by 12, just so I could get it all on the same vinyl sheet. And we'll have a little bit of space around the outside edge, so that's okay. Pretty close. So I always pull diagonal off because it gives a certain look to your SPiT. Michelle Nicole usually grabs the four corners and pulls it up so that it comes up from the center. You can go up, you can go down, side to side. I always go diagonal just because I like the look. So you can see right here and right here there were air bubbles in the plastic, so it's white from the canvas, but just a little spritz of the water will blend that, so it's okay. So I think you can also fix those the canvas texture if you want. I just kind of lightly spritz in to move the SPiT around a little bit. Alright. I don't want to do too much because I kind of like how this turned out. I might put a little more over here though. I think I have. Let me grab it. I do have a Z that's already diluted, so I'm going to use that to fill in these holes because I just think it'll look good. And it's blending with what's already on there, so I'm just kind of putting it where the canvas texture is coming through. And where it's like super dark, so and go around this edge. Like the edges aren't really going to matter too much because, like I said, our design is only 9.5 by 11. 9.5 by 11.5, so it's not going to go all the way to the edges. So okay. So I'm just going to spritz that just a little bit to make it move a little. Not a whole lot. Alright, and let's see how it's looking. It's mixing pretty good. I'm going to blow. Just a little, because that's my second favorite technique, is blowing it around. And I think that this might be okay. I just don't want any canvas marks where letters might be. So right here, I'm just going to use the SPiT that's on the plastic. It just don't matter. It looks pretty good. Some cool stuff going on here. It's maybe my floor tips this way because all the SPiT is rolling that way. That's kind of funny. I'm just thinking. See, most of this isn't going to show, only where the letters are, so... I just want to make sure that we have some variation in color, so bear with me. Some cool stuff happening on this canvas. Alright, so I think I want... Oops. I'm just going to put one little drop of Zia in that spot I just did. It's kind of a weird color gray. Alright, I think that that's good. We lost a lot of our pink though. Do I want to splatter it with pink? Maybe I want to splatter it with pink. Just a little. We'll do that. So I'm just going to put it on my fingers and kind of just throw some of that on there. Like we do stars for the galaxy. Okay, I'm going to let this dry and then we'll move on to the second part. Yeah, it must go downhill on this side or something. It's all running to one side. Alright, I'm going to let this dry and then we'll move on to the second step. Okay, so I let this dry and then I did a quick spray sealed outside where it's cold, so it didn't want to dry very well, but I brought it in here and stuck it in front of the heat for a minute, so I'm hoping that it's okay. Let me show you what that little thing is. But here's my quote that I'm going to put on here, and it's just the letters because we're doing a reverse stencil, so let's cross our fingers that it works out. And I'm hoping that because I did this last night, the painting, and I spray sealed it, that it's not going to pull up too much with the contact paper. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for. However, if it pulls up around the letters, that's okay, because we're going to cover that with gray anyway. It's just the letter part that I'm worried about, because I did this on another canvas, or I did a stencil on another canvas, but it was okay because I did that canvas like 2 years ago. So give me a second here. I gotta find a, there it is. Okay. I'll look at my credit card number. I do have a burnishing tool somewhere. I just don't know where it's at since I moved. So we're just gonna do this really carefully and make sure that we get all the parts of the letters stuck to the clear contact paper. I'm going to move this plastic here for a minute. There we go. So this quote, you know, I'm not going to tell you what it's from. I'm going to let you guys tell me where it's from. Let's see who knows their literature. And no Googling. That's not fair. If you know it, put it in the comments. Don't Google. No cheating. Okay, so there's that. We got flaky spit from the plastic on there. Oh, what a mess. Okay, so here is our, which way do we want it to go though? I guess this way. All the flakes are on this side of it. Oh look, we got cat hair. Fun times. Alright, so we want it kind of centered. And I cut close to the letters on the contact so that it doesn't have this much sticking space. And I'm not gonna, excuse me, I'm just gonna burnish the letters. I'm not gonna burnish all of the contact paper because I really don't want it to stick, because even though we're covering it with gray, there will be definitely lumps and bumps if it pulls, so we don't want that. If we can help it, I really love the Stencil stuff, the Oramask 813. I'm kind of mad at myself. I've had it forever and I just never used it, so I'm kind of mad that I never did. It works much better than regular vinyl. So if you haven't tried it yet, I suggest it. And it is costs a little more than vinyl, but it does really work much better. Heat stuck in there. Okay, let's see. I might have to blast this with a little bit of heat just to make sure that it's sticking. We'll see. Yeah. So I'm just going to use my heat gun real quick. Just to warm it up just a little bit. Just the letters, not the contact. And it's melting, the contact, but that's okay. Not a lot of heat. Turn off, thank you. And we'll burnish again. Okay, let's see. Where did that come from? It looks okay. Alright, so that's looking good. turn this around, pull that way. Now, it did pull up the spit a little bit right there, but that's okay. Not too bad. Oh, goodness, I'm losing my voice, I think. Actually, it's doing pretty good for being just sprayed, so that's awesome. Alright. And this contact is not pulling up the spit like I've had it do before, so okay, good. So if you're a credit card hacker and you caught my number, this is a child support card, so you can go ahead and try, but there's never any money on it, so good luck. Get on there, a little butter. Okay. Are we being really sticky right there? We are. Come on. There we go. Alright. So, has anybody guessed the quote yet? It's one of my favorite stories, one of my favorite books. Oh. Get back on there. No, that's because it's right on the edge of the wood from the canvas. There we go. Okay, we got it. I know you guys can't really see the quote now, but alright. I'm just gonna turn this back around so you guys can see. Ooh, where's the best place to put this? Right there. And I'm gonna burnish again, make sure it's really stuck on there. It's looking pretty good. And there's a few spots that look like they might be trouble. Oh, come on, F. Don't be a pain in my butt. That looks good. Alright, so I'm hoping we get crisp lines, but, you know, if we don't, we don't. You get the right idea, though. Practice makes perfect. Okay, so now I have my gray, Weathered Daydream, and I'm going to go full strength on this. So, I'm going to use a sponge brush. And it's a little bit damp because I've had it in a cup of water from the last time I used it. So we're going to go with that. Get some plastic to put this in. Because if I put it on the garbage bag, I will most definitely step in it. There's no doubt in my mind. So I'm going to pour some in this plastic container. And when you do this step, you have to make sure that you do the sides too, because you want it all covered. So we're actually going to start with the sides. Kind of kicking myself. I never ordered the browns and the gray, but I got the you know, from that Grand River or whatever it is. I got the free was it Rustic Reality, I think. Just pay shipping. So that was the first time I ever had brown, which I used on that Alice in Wonderland project that I did, and it works amazing for antiquing. So I was like, what? Guess I should have got this before. So then when my Secret Spit Angel sent me some from Michelle Pippard. I got the gray and the other brown. So I have used, well, I haven't used Squirrel yet, but it looks like chocolate, so I'm sure I'll like it because I love chocolate. But this gray is pretty amazing. It's already drying. That's pretty cool. Okay. So we got the edges, and legs are killing me today. And I still have my pajamas on, so, and they're covered in spit. Everything I have is covered in spit. So I did the edges. So now I'm going to go over the top. And I don't want it like super soaked over the letters because I want to keep that crisp edge. So like dip your sponge into your spit and then kind of bounce it a little in your container that has the spit so it's not super wet, because we don't want it to come unstuck yet, not until it's dry. So but around the letters you can go a little thicker because we're going to actually do a second coat, I think, because the last time I did this was way back when I first got my spit, and I did it on a project, and I did black over it, and it looks good. I like it, and I love the colors behind where the letters were, but the black part of it is not solid. It doesn't look good. It looks a little streaky from the colors behind it, so we want to make sure that doesn't happen on this one. You know, this cold is still kicking my butt. My nose will not stop running. It's driving me crazy. So I can see where there are some streaks in the gray from brushing this on, but that's okay because we are definitely gonna do a second coat, and this is drying pretty quick, so I think that we can do that in probably about 5 minutes, especially if I put it in front of my heater vent. So all right, make sure you get all the little circles and stuff inside the letters, like the F's and the E's. Alright, it's looking good. So I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes and let it dry, and then we'll come back and do a second coat. And we are back. This is almost dry all the way, so I am going to do another coat. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can definitely see not necessarily the color, but the blotchiness of the colors behind it. So I'm hoping that that second coat will cover that. You know, maybe I should have did black first and then did gray over it. I don't know. We're figuring this out all together. So I just I think gray is a little more romantic than black. I mean, it's not as harsh, I guess, is what we should say. Got a little bit of the stuff from the plastic underneath up here. So this time around, I'm not too worried about it being thick around the letters, because the letters are pretty much sealed in there right now. So You can go a little heavier on the second coat. I think I need some more. I should have done the edges first, again. Just go with it. That S was pulling up a little bit, so I'm hoping it's crisp under there. Again, like I said, we're just crossing our fingers that this turns out the way that I want it to. Because I really would like for this to be my first sponsored video, which has to be sped up. Because they can only be 5 minutes long, so you guys get the long version on how to do it, and then there's a quick 5-minute kind of like teaser, like, okay, this is how you do it, but it's really fast and you don't hear any of the actual directions, but you can see what's happening, which is fun, and I like making them on my little program that I have. You just put your video in there and you speed it up, so pretty cool how it works out. Alright, I'm gonna do the edges. Sorry, I know I'm not in frame. And I got a flaking SPiT from the plastic that's underneath it, so I'm gonna change that too. Stay in frame here. One more edge. Okay, gonna let this dry, and we'll be right back. Alright, so it's looking pretty good. I mean, there's still some spots where you can see not the color, but like that it's blotchy behind it, but I'm just going to go with it because it might fix itself once it's sealed. I'm not sure, so give me 2 seconds here. I gotta change this out because I'm tired of all the little flakes of SPiT getting on my project. I'm not even worried about it right now because we're not doing wet SPiT. So I don't have any Krieger tools. I do, but I don't know where they are. That's what happens when you move and all of your craft supplies are in a million different boxes. So I usually use a tack anyway because I like that it's smaller and I can get my hands pretty close to what I need to get to. So cross your fingers. We're going to start with this S only because it's starting to come up anyway. So, yep, we got a little bit of a bleed right there, but I think we can fix it. So, another problem that I can foresee here is I did cursive letters. So they're going to have to come up in one piece. And I hope that's the only bleed, because that was the only one I saw coming up. So, hey, look at, you know what? The letters are breaking off. So that might be a good thing. So right here on the bottom of the edge, I'm going to have to take a little paintbrush and try to get that gray off. But the rest of it looks really good. And I think that was the only letter that I had lifting a little bit. So, I don't know, thick piece right there. Might have to touch that up with gray. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to finish this up and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. And we're back. So it all looks really, really, really good except for that little bottom of that S right there. Everything else is very, very crisp. And so usually I would attack this with like a really tiny paintbrush and a little bit of water just to get that gray out of there. However, I don't have a little paintbrush. I don't know what I painted with it, but it is solid, rock solid. So what I'm gonna do instead is I got a little piece of baby wipe, which I do have in abundance here. And I'm gonna make it small. And I'm just gonna use a butter knife and just make a little edge there. And then we're gonna go into that S and clean it up. Yeah. Nice. So when I blew on it, I spit on it, so, you know, good times. Oh. This is the joy of arting, right, Michelle Nicole? Alright. So that looks better. I know you didn't just see what I did. Where's my S right there? Okay, so I just took the wipe and the knife and went right inside the letter just to clean up that gray. So much better. Now we are going to let that spot dry again in the spot where I drooled. And then we'll seal it. So here is the quote. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. Did anybody guess what it's from? Looks pretty. I'm gonna let it dry and then we're gonna seal it, and then I'll post a pic or add a pic to the video anyway. I like it. It looks pretty. Yay! It worked. Okay guys, I will be back in a minute.